Leading an impactful EdTech enterprise, UCL course coming up from the 3rd to the 5th of March. What's the course going to be about, Alison, first of all?
Hi, Luigi. Well, this course has really been designed to enable the leadership of EdTech enterprises who, we know to be meaningfully designing EdTech to just get underneath some of the trickier parts of ensuring that their companies are all aligned towards the impact goals for the EdTechs that they're designing. Yeah, so we've worked with all teams within EdTech companies over the years, big and small, and there is no doubt that leadership drives most of the decision making, most of the resource allocations, product decisions, and so on. So, working with leaders, and that might be leaders of small companies, or it might be product teams and leaders of teams within larger organizations, are really critical because they shape the direction of travel for the EdTech and hold the responsibility really for determining whether or not the products they're building are impactful in the end.
One of the things that we'd really love to see are for teams to come together. So actually, we're quite strict about it at UCL. If you want to come alone, then we'll wait for a time that you're able to come with your team, because the course is all about collaboration and building a strategy about how to incorporate these learnings in the business right away. Which we call an impact strategy. So that's one of the things about this course. It's very hands-on, and it's all about building a plan for how to incorporate right as soon as you leave the course. So we're excited about that and excited to welcome teams together.
One thing we've found is that although a lot of people are interested in impact and talk about impact, when we talk with leadership teams and product team leads and so on, very rarely is there a clear way that stays high and prominent in the many things that are being juggled within organizations. So, nobody argues with, finance being, strongly driven in a collaborative way, or product development, but actually research and impact strategies can kind of fall between the cracks a little bit. And it's often not till we bring key people together they realize that they don't quite have a handle on it. Most of what we're suggesting in the course is really practical, really pragmatic, and people get it. It's just you maybe haven't had the headspace to bring your colleagues together around that topic. And that's really what this gives you the opportunity to do.
Sure. One of the things that we call the model that we did a lot of research on is the 6 superpowers of EdTech companies. And so we actually have the ability to benchmark where the superpowers of the companies are. Oftentimes, even without knowing the model, companies have a lot of these superpowers or elements of them. And so through the course, we're able to take a look at them, benchmark where the company is at, what processes, assets, mindsets need to be developed, and then make a plan for strategically making those things manifest in a business. And so that's, it's not something that is necessarily non-existent, like you said, Luigi. It's something that we have in different amounts in different companies, and we just want to make sure that it's all there. There's a plan for how to make sure that it continues as well. And so, and we also can measure that in companies as well as a benchmark, which is an exercise that can be done in the course if companies are interested, and be quite systematic about how to develop those elements.
I think something very interesting that you and I discussed at BET in London is your take, which my understanding is it comes from your research together with Alison during your PhD at UCL on how tracking evidence is part of it is shifting the attention towards the people rather than the company itself. And I wonder whether this is kind of embedded within the whole core concept of the course.
Absolutely. And it's all about leading an impactful EdTech enterprise. So we're not calling it a product development course. We're actually it's all about building these capacities in the people that are leading the company, because it's all about their ability to build those products, to lead that entity, and to into impact. And so our entire emphasis in our research is all about the people rather than the products. And so really excited to have a course for the first time that has this focus on the people that are building EdTech and to bring that to the fore.
That's a great question because, I mean, again, it takes the point about when you come as a team, there'll be some common things that that will appear across the different companies, and always we learn and share different ways that we're approaching some of the challenges there. For example, I mean, you mentioned earlier about evidence, and right now we've got a culture where evidence is very much on the product. We've got a whole host of certifications and accreditations, and there's regulations coming in that are really sort of focused in on the product. And you can have an impact strategy that is all towards ticking the boxes, getting these badges, getting these certifications because they might be needed somewhere. I'm listening to the experiences of that. So actually, how easy is that across different products, different types of products, different types of teams to generate the evidence you need for that? Well, we know everyone struggles. So there is that sense that there are some common struggles. And one of the things I think that makes us confident that you can bring what might appear to be competitors together is we all share that common mission if we're working in education. And I think that's something that once we realize that, the challenges we face globally in education are so big, there's no one company that will ever address all of them, that working through collaborations and coalitions of organizations is the only way we'll do that. And we hope that our leadership of the course can really convey that spirit, that spirit of serving, EdTech serving the communities that we're building technologies for. There's two parts to that, Luigi. There's the sort of in-design part, and then there's the end sort of product part. So if we go with the in-design part, we know of so many case examples of companies that have burned basically a lot of their early investment money, building out features and functionalities that when they've taken it to the real world classroom, either are not applicable or not interoperable enough, whole host of backtracking, expensive backtracking that's needed. So there's that pay it forward in one respect, in that spending a little bit more time, learning a little bit more about how to build with evidence in a practical, pragmatic way saves burning money in the wrong direction. So that's that first one. The second one relates to, okay, we've got something, it's worked in this context, we're looking to scale to a new market or to a new part of education sector. We know we're not going to be able to sell unless we've got that case for evidence. And then Anissa has made the point about one thing about being mindful about the research you're doing means which sort of research organizations might help you with the right type of research. And, that's becoming an interesting market now because we have sort of research services for EdTechs that, as a market that didn't exist years ago. So how do you know as a leadership team which organization you can trust to deliver you the sorts of evidence that might be needed, whether it's to go to a new market, to gain more investment, to build more trust with your users or your user communities. So we kind of see it as a win-win. But, it is a pay it forward in that respect, and it is a business decision. And I think it's not always easy to see what the value of that research evidence is going to be. But the world is changing, and we're certainly moving towards a need for evidence. So I'd get ahead if I was a business leader right now.
And I think the EdTech landscape has changed a lot in the last few years, 2-3 years. And the answer perhaps 2-3 years ago would have been a little harder from a business standpoint, but procurers and kind of the information asymmetry between EdTech procurers and EdTech developers is coming down faster and faster at the moment. So The course is going to be from the 3rd to the 5th of March.
We'll be running it again in June. So if people don't make it in for March, then there's certainly going to be an opportunity. And we're also talking with a number of partners globally about bringing this face-to-face, because we should say this is real, in real life, face-to-face, bringing this to other parts of the world where there are groups of companies for which it makes sense.
Amazing. Thank you very much, Alison and Anissa.
Thank you.
Thank you, Luigi.